we have a heat advisory for the next 4 days. It is so hot right now, so we are gonna take the jet ski out for a little bit. Well, we found a little deserted cove and we're gonna hang out here for a little while. Kirk is trying to find a spot deep enough to swim. Oh, it looks like another jet ski's coming in. So much for having the place to ourselves. Bummer. Anyway, that's what we're doing. The jet ski left. So I still have a private beach. Hi everyone, it's Deb here. Welcome back to another week in my life. So I finished Sanctus, which you'll see in the last vlog, and I am about to start Island of Thieves by Glenn Eric Hamilton. And this is the back cover. When a new security gig turns into a setup, expert thief Van Shaw finds himself the prey in a cross-country pursuit in this electrifying sixth novel in Glenn Eric Hamilton's pulse-pounding and emotionally resonant thriller series. When Van Shaw is hired to evaluate the safeguards for an art collection of eccentric business magnate Sebastian Rohner, he's skeptical. Rohner is adamant that a rival is planning to heist his collection and wants to set a thief to catch a thief. Curious, Van accepts the lucrative offer and arrives at Rohner's island estate during the magnate's international summit. But before he can find the suspected thief, Van stumbles across the murdered body of one of the honored guests along the rocky shore. Weary of his employer's true intentions, Van knows the homicide detectives on the case will hound him as their prime suspect. Van begins to hunt for the killer himself, but scrutiny only digs his hole deeper. When another executive is murdered, he's forced to go on the run. Alone and unaided, Van is hunted by the cops, the enraged Rohner, and a pair of psychopathic hitmen who chase him from one coast to the next. To clear his name, Van Shaw will have to uncover a hidden plot of global espionage while eluding a team of killers who are determined to take him down. So that sounds very exciting and should be a lot of fun to read. I will let you know how it progresses as the week goes on. And we have a heat advisory here, so we'll probably end up at the pool at some point, but I have no idea what else is gonna go on. So stick around, we'll see what happens. Okay, we are on our way to the pool. There's a couple people there, so I won't be able to film in there, but I'm definitely looking forward to cooling off a little bit. I'm just gonna say one more time how refreshing the pool was. I'm still cool, and that makes me very happy. In other news, at the beginning of the season, they planted a pumpkin patch for the kids because we have Halloween in August for the kids with a parade and trick-or-treating and everything. And this is the pumpkin patch. So the pumpkin patch is coming along, and I think the kids will really enjoy it. Good morning, everybody. Deb here. Well, we went to check out the meteor shower last night, and we only saw a few meteors, but they were cool. But we saw this weird, like, spiral thing with an aura around it. So we checked the news this morning, and apparently it's an exhaust plume from a rocket launch, and the exhaust freezes in space and crystallizes, and what was creating the aura was the sun reflecting off the ice crystals. So it was pretty cool to see that. It was definitely unique, and we were at a total loss as to what it was. In other news, got a call from my bank. My debit card was compromised, so I had to go through the fraud prevention process, and I will get a new debit card in 3 to 7 business days. So that's always good that my bank is keeping an eye on fraud prevention, because I don't get into my checking account very often to see or dispute a charge. So thank goodness for PNC and their fraud prevention department. Today, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have the hot water heater turned on to do dishes. I may continue reading Island of Thieves. This is pretty good. It's very action-packed. It would definitely make a good action movie, I think, because there's just something going on all the time. But I'm about a little halfway through. So, yeah, I'll let you know what else I get up to. Hey everybody, Deb here. I haven't recorded anything in a few days. I've been essentially finishing reading Island of Thieves. This was very action-packed, very action-oriented. I really had to suspend reality to get through this one, but you know what? It was enjoyable. It passed the time. I am about to start reading I Am Watching by Emma Kavanagh. The back cover says, "From a distance they seem to be sleeping, 3 bodies sitting propped up against the ancient stones of Hadrian's Wall, until a closer look reveals the horror of their 2 white faces. The victims were found by a schoolgirl, Isla Bell, out on an early morning run along the historic site. That day changed the small town of Binghamton forever and shaped Isla's life. 20 years later, she's a professor of criminology, wrestling with the question that still haunts her. Why? Why did Heath McGowan kill those people, and 2 more besides, before he was finally caught by Isla's police detective father? At last, Isla has a chance to get answers when Heath agrees to take part in her research. Isla's husband, Ramsey, the only one of Heath's victims to survive, cautions her against the meeting. But no matter how ready Isla feels to peer within a killer's mind, there is no way to prepare for the fresh horror about to engulf Brigantine. Another body is found, displayed just as before, and then another. Is this a copycat, or could the truth be darker still?" So that sounds good. Looking forward to that. Today we went into town, picked up a few groceries, had breakfast. Kirk is golfing tomorrow, even though it's supposed to rain. We need rain desperately here. But anyway, I'm gonna close out this vlog for now, and I will see you next week. We'll see what we get up to. Bye.